Today I'm attempting to beat Pokémon Emerald using only an Azurill, which happens to be the weakest Pokémon obtainable in Hoenn with a total of 190 base stats. I won't be allowed to use any kind of potion until the Pokémon League, if I even make it that far. Azurill must remain unevolved, and these are the moves it learns through leveling up. Pretty underwhelming and scary. Of course, HM labels are allowed, because without them progressing through some areas will be impossible. So the journey begins in Little Root Town. I modified the ROM to make Azurill my starter Pokémon instead of a Mudkip. At level 5, Azurill can't do much since its only moves are Splash and Charm, which just lower the opponent's attack. Zigzagoon won't even bother fainting Azurill because it will run away before anything meaningful happens. At level 10, Azurill learns Bubble, but until then leveling up is a nightmare. You have to enter battles, use up all your PP without taking too much damage, and then let the struggle do the work. The struggle deals damage, but it also damages Azurill in return. Once Azurill learned Bubble, I went up against my rival. Pyramid Rico was impossible at first since Bubble is not very effective against it. It wasn't long till level 13 that I finally managed to win. Next up, it was time to head to the first gym in Roseboro City. Along the way, I defeated the trainers I encountered, helped Wally to catch his first Pokemon, and passed through Petalburg Woods without much trouble. Here, you only have to take out a Team Aquagrant, and their Pushina goes down with a couple of bubbles. I made it to Roseboro, got the HM cut, and headed straight for the gym. Thanks to Azurill's water-type moves, this gym should have been too much of a problem. All of the Gyarados used by the gym trainers went down easily without putting up much of a fight. With Azurill at level 15, that by the way it learns Slam at this level, I decided to challenge Roxanne. Her two Gyarados fell with 2 bubbles each, but her Nosepass was whole other story. Bubble barely did any damage, and Azurill kept getting knocked out. I had to change my strategy. I used Charm a couple of times to lower Nosepass attack so it wouldn't hit as hard. Even then, at level 17 I kept losing because Roxanne will heal her Pokemon just as I was about to finish it off. I had to level up to level 19 after a critical hit from a tackle, but in the end I managed to defeat Roxanne Nosepass. By the way, in this generation, critical hits double the damage and ignore any negative stat changes. Next, I had to head to Dewford Town, but not before taking out another Team Aquagrant in the Rosefort Tunnel, and facing off against Brendan. His Wingull went down easily, and his Rico only took 2 hits to beat. I cut my first HM slave off the run and went to see Mr. Brittany, setting course for Dewford. Now, I had to deliver the letter to Steven, then enter the gym to face the gym trainers, which didn't really pose much of a challenge. Well, except for one matchup who landed a critical hit on me. And of course the gym leader. Brawly had to be a problem too. It feels like they hand out critical hits in this game. I leveled up Azurill to level 25, but I just couldn't beat Brawly's matchup. At level 30 I managed to defeat it, including his Meditite, but no matter what I tried, his Maquita kept knocking me out. So I had to level Azurill up to 34. I used Charm to lower its attack, but he just kept boosting it with Volt Up. But in the end, after several hits, a Slam landed a critical hit, and I finally earned my second badge. For the third gym, I had to sail over to Slateport City, defeat a few trainers, and deal with some Team Aquagrants before facing up against a rival again. Azurill wiped out Solgma easily, but it managed to land down. Then Wingull confused my Pokemon, but I was able to take it out with a Slam. Unfortunately, Azurill was left with just 9 HP, and Gropile finished it off. I tried again, but this time, just to be safe, I lowered his attack. It was faster, but in the end it couldn't stand up to Azurill. Once in Mobile City, I had to face Wally. He only had his rolls, and we all know how that goes. In the gym, I fought a few trainers who weren't too hard, but let's see how the leader goes. Everything was going smoothly until his Boulder tried to use self-destruct. Azurill survived, but Electric took me out. I tried several times, even getting to his Magneton, but I just couldn't push through. So I had no choice but to grind with the trainers on the nearby routes. Even at levels 40, 43, 45 and 47, Azurill just couldn't handle it. My Pokemon was paralyzed and my Electric kept boosting its attack with Hole, but it didn't help because of the way physical and special attacks work in this generation. He healed with a Citrus Berry, which actually worked out for me because that way he didn't use a potion, and I was able to finish him off with one last Slam. I got the Acro Bike and Rock Smash to head to the 4th gym, but on my way there I remembered that this guy gives you secret power, and with any luck Azurill could learn it. Turns out it could. I made my way through the routes to reach Laboratory Town, entered the Meteor Falls to head back to the Cable area and finally use it. In Fear Path I had to fight some Team Macamacarons and face Maxi for the first time. His Magdiana almost went down with 2 secret powers. It healed, but I finished it off with Water Gun. His Zubat wasn't much of a problem, and his Camroot scared me a bit with Magnitude 7, but it eventually went down too. After that I could finally head to Laboratory Gym. As a Fire-type gym, I thought the trainers and the leader won't be too difficult, especially with my powerful water gun, right? Well, not quite. But Normal and Slugma fell easily, but Flannery Slugma poisoned my Azurill. Emerald healed, but fell easily as well. Torkoal took less damage than I would like, and in the end I lost. Torkoal used Sunny Day, which made my water gun pretty useless. I got it down to barely any health, but it managed to finish me off with overheat. In another attempt, it healed and Secret Power paralyzed it, which gave me a glimmer of hope. The paralysis did its job and I finally earned the 4th badge. I received the Strange Gem, called another slave for the future, and it was time to face my dad. I entered the precision room, paralyzed, and took down a Delcative. In the recovery room, a Slackle almost sent me packing with counter, but it fell in the end. Then the instant chaos room with Vigoroth, but it also went down in 2 secret powers. Finally, it was time to face the man who went out for cigarettes. The spin deck confused my Pokemon, but it eventually went down. The Slacking, however, was a real problem with its side attack. To avoid getting hit by counter, I focused on lowering its attack during the turns it wasn't loafing around, hoping to gain an advantage. Even when it healed, I left it with very little health, and tried again, but it still beat me. I had to level up to 60 to finally take it down, lower Vigoroth's attack, which almost killed my Pokemon, and managed to finish it off in the end. The last one is Hoenn, but as you can guess, I had to level up to 65 to defeat Slacking and Vigoroth without many problems. The Hoenn used Belly Drum, but I lowered its attack, and with that I managed to survive and defeat it with a headbutt. I obtained Surf, went to the Move Tutor to see if Azurill could learn something interesting, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. On the way to the 6th gym, I had to enter the Warren Institute to obtain a cast form, and continue my journey. The rival came for a rematch, but Slugma was easy with Water Gun and Rain, and his remaining 2 Pokemon were pretty much more of the same. After reaching Fortress City, I had to get a Demonoscope to enter the gym, and honestly the Pokemon here weren't much of a challenge. But let's see what happens with the leader Winona. She has 5 Pokemon, and the first one is Swabble, which uses Perish Song. So rip to my Azurill. I finish it up with a headbutt and move on to Tropius, which also fell easily. The Pelipper confused me, but I got lucky on that one. I lowered Skarmory's attack, and with 2 Surfs it went down. Altaria was the strongest, especially with its Dragon Dance, which knocked out my Azurill. I tried again using Headbutt, and it seemed strange that it had an Oran Berry but not Citrus Berry. Thanks to the Oran Berry, my Azurill sent Altaria to the afterlife, and honestly I thought this gym battle would be more difficult. I headed to Lillicop City to face my rival for the last time, but before that, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you like to see more similar Pokemon challenges, and also not miss any. As usual, my rival couldn't handle the mighty Azurill. I entered the department store to buy Blizzard and teach it to Azurill, but I remembered that Ice Beam is easily obtainable in this game, and it will be more useful for the upcoming battles. I went to the abandoned ship and entered the rooms to get the key that opens the storage room, where I could get the Ice Beam. Headbutt is a good move, but it can miss, and I need reliable moves for the rest of the region. At Empty Chimney, the battles were more of the same. When I ran into a Magma Sign, I had to head to the team's hideout where Groudon woke up, and I had to face Maxie once again. My Diana fell after 2 hits. I scored a critical hit on Crobat, and Camerupt also went down. In Team Aqua's hideout, I obtained a Master Ball, defeated more Pokemon, and now I can head to the penultimate gym, which, believe me, will be so difficult. None of the trainers' Pokemon in the gym were a problem. However, for Tate and Lisa, it's necessary to have 2 Pokemon, so I use one of my slaves who will only use Focus Energy to avoid interfering in any way during the battles. But in the end, it doesn't matter since they always knock him out first. Saru used Confuse Ray, so it had to be the first to get down. I defeated, but Lunatone ended up defeating my Azurill. At level 75 and 80, the same thing happened. Lunatone even used Hypnosis. At level 85, I managed to defeat most of them, but it wasn't until level 90 when I landed a critical hit on Claydol with Surf. I froze Lunatone, it healed, but it eventually fell. Solrock can use Solar Beam on the same turn due to Sunny Day, but my Ice Beam could take out more than half its health. Even though it healed with Citrus Berry, I was able to defeat it and earn my 7th gym badge. Now I had to do a double battle, which I won't describe in detail, but I almost took out half of Azurill's HP. Steven gave me dive, and I went to Seafloor Cavern to face Archie one last time. Most were easy except for Sharpedo, which managed to confuse me, but it eventually fell. Kyogre awakened, and we had an epic cinematic where, surprise, Groudon had all chances to win. I had to go to Sky Pillar to wake up the dad of the 2 little kids and send them back to bed. I was given Waterfall and headed to the last gym, remembering how to walk across all the ice floors. Juan's Lobsticks fell to a secret power. Cialeo managed to confuse my Pokemon, but I eventually defeated along with a Groudon. Kingdra used double teamed several times and it was really tricky to land a hit. With a Hydro Pump it left me with 1 HP. Even though it was a critical hit, I lost but I had to keep trying. Even though I was on the brink of defeat, the mighty Azurill took down all of Hoenn's Pokémon. Now only the final part of the video remains, the Pokémon League path. I reached Evergrande City and Victory Road, but for some reason I thought the battle against Wally was at the end of the road. Honestly, there's no need to describe what happened here since you can see it for yourself. But once again, Azurill showed its true potential. I crossed Victory Road and finally arrived at the Pokémon League. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, in the league I will be able to heal my Azurill, as otherwise it will be impossible to defeat the more than 20 Pokémons in a row. I'll bring 10 full restores and 10 full heals for the Elite Four members and the champion. But before this, I went to get some ethers and elixirs to restore Azurill's move PP, because trust me, they will be very necessary. Sydney is the first. Magdiana fell to a critical hit from Secret Power, Shiftry and Cacturne both went down to Ice Beam, which is one of the reasons this move was so important. I paralyzed Cloudon and defeated without much trouble. Absol uses Swords Dance and also has a strong attack power, so lowering its attack with Charm was essential. Fortunately, I managed to paralyze it and took down Sydney with ease. I healed Azurill and now it's time for Fluid. Her first Dusclops is a headache due to its pressure ability, Protect and Curse. All of this combined makes you waste your attacks faster and force you to heal. I was able to defeat it, including her first Bayonet, but the curse didn't go away until Azurill fainted or I could switch it, which wasn't an option. And my Pokémon fell to the curse. I had to level Azurill up to level 97 to take down the first two Pokémon, but the Bayonets have Grudge, which consumes all the PP of my last attack. Sableye uses Double Team, but it fell with 2 Ice Beams. I restored the PP, defeated the second Bayonet, and fortunately the last Dusclops only use Earthquake, which was nothing too complicated. It healed, I healed, but after several exchanges of attacks I finally defeated the second Elite Four member, who was a bit of a problem. Now it's Glacier Storm. Her Cieleo uses Hail. It went down with 2 secret powers. Glalie fell the same way and the second Cieleo was more of safe. But not everything was smooth sailing. I managed to paralyze the second Glalie, but I didn't know it had explosion. I came back and defeated. Warren is the last Pokemon. I took a risk and it landed a critical hit on me. Even though she didn't land critical hits, its surf still dealt quite a bit of damage, and I was forced to heal. But Warren couldn't withstand the overwhelming power of Azurill. A challenging Elite Four member, but not tougher than Fluid. Now it's time for my favorite Elite Four member. Ice Beam is crucial here. Shelgon used Protect, but it didn't matter. Ice Beam dealt 4x damage to Altaria. Kingdra did manage to lower my HP a bit, but it was eventually defeated. I healed and Flygon dealt a lot of damage, but in the end Ice Beam dealt 4x damage. Against Salamence I took a risk, but its Dragon Claw wasn't enough and Ice Beam sent it to the Ice Age. Now it's time for the final battle, the Champion Wallace. Wailord is faster and deals massive damage with its Water Spout, but I managed to paralyze it, and with some luck I defeated. Tentacruel is also a threat healing itself, but in the end I was defeated. In another attempt it poisoned me, and it really tough to deal with. I had to heal the poison in another attempt, it landed a critical hit on me, and by the skin of my teeth I was able to defeat it. Manuel Guevara subscribed right in the middle of the battle against Ludicolo. Cheers if you are watching this and Ludicolo wasn't too tough. Which guess was the next? It used Amnesia, but I defeated, leaving me with only 57 HP. Against Gyarados I had nothing to do, especially since I couldn't heal anymore, so I had to level up to the max and pray to Arceus. And after several attempts a miracle happened. Azurill was left with 1 HP, and by this point in the attempt I still had my last healing item. My Lorik dealt a lot of damage, but I paralyzed it. It landed a critical hit on me, and at that moment I had no chance. In another attempt I landed a critical hit, but it wasn't enough. Unfortunately it used Recover and poisoned me again until I was defeated. I couldn't give up and I needed to pray for another miracle. I was defeated once more by Poison and Surf, until fortunately I left my Lorik with just enough HP that it couldn't heal, and Azurill landed a critical hit, finally defeating it, because without that critical hit it would have been impossible. After multiple attacks, many battles, many defeats, and a lot of time, it is indeed possible to complete Pokémon Emerald with the worst Pokémon in Hoenn. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you want to see more Pokémon challenges and not miss the ones from Zelda. I will leave you here a challenge from Tears of the Kingdom that's totally worth watching, so click on it and I will see you there.